strategy, and I think it's been pretty successful, is to maintain the status quo, spend our money very frivolously, focus on the things that are core in terms of the services that we need to provide to the community, making sure that public safety and the services that we can provide are fully funded to the extent that we can. And as previously mentioned, we are fortunate that the voters of Union City did allow us to have an additional tax measure to serve as somewhat of a buffer, which we clearly have needed. But during that time, we've also put together a plan that we feel as a council at this point gives us an opportunity to get the city ahead of the curve as we come out of the recession and as the recovery starts to hit the city through different mechanisms of tax revenue. We've certainly focused on economic development, and we've placed some incentives there and some investment so that will be a bigger return over the next couple of years and help solidify our financial future for the coming years.
Ms. Kokoskos?
Our city had challenges in the beginning, especially when we lost our redevelopment agency money and also with the recession. But with the help of the residents of Union City approving the raising of our sales tax, which would really only affect people who would buy big things, expensive things, and are happy that we were supported by the residents, and it helps us balance our budget. We do not want to depend on the sales tax increase only. We have to do something like attracting more businesses in Union City and retaining them, so we can our financial situation will be better. And this year, we're asking the citizens to retain or extend our sales tax because it will really help us. At the same time, the City Council will work hard with providing all the services that the citizen needs, and also especially public safety and parks and other services to our community.
Mr. Salwan?
Can you please repeat the question?
Of course. What is your opinion about the financial status of the city? What are its strengths and weaknesses?
First of all, good evening, everyone, and thanks for coming. The financial situation about the city, I would like to congratulate the city administrators that they have done their best to match the revenues and expenditures. I have seen last year it was approximately 40 million expenditure and revenue. So that's a very good job. And I have also seen that once a couple of years back, the revenue was crossing 100 million, and now the total revenue is approximately 75 million. So you can imagine the loss of $30 million for a small city like us. The situation was very bad, but we did a good job, and we are emerging from it. And thanks to all the Union City voters who have voted for mayor, the previous sales tax extension that gave us $4 million, and that is approximately 10% of the general fund. The good thing about situation is that our city has taken very drastic steps and to make it stable. And the bad thing is we are a small size cities. We are lacking space, so that it's very hard to get more people into. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Shahi?
Looking at the current situation, the budget is pretty much balanced, so congratulate to the existing team. But when I'm looking at the future projection, 5-year financial projection, I see the curve is a little bit scary. That is even including the half-cent sale tax we already have, which actually funds various good projects, public safety, after-school programs, and library, and so forth. I think we are a small city. That's not a bad news. It can be managed well. It can be, looking at this curve, I think we need to do more. We need to be more proactive, that whatever the resources we have, whatever the space we have, whatever the business sector allocation we have, we need to bring more revenue to the city in order to move this downgoing curve up in a few years. So we just need to put more emphasis on the economic development and finding those businesses who can create more revenue so we can make that curve straight going forward.
Thank you. We'll start the second round of questions, and Mr. Ellis, you'll be the first. How would you use your position as council member concerning Measure KK, the developing of land east of Mission Boulevard?
So, thank you for the question. So, certainly a highly debated topic in Union City for years, well before I manned the dais, was the development or potential development or preservation of the hills. So in my role as city council member, I've been very clear that measure and the protection was a voter-initiated activity that was passed several years ago through two different measures. And so the decision before us at hand, in terms of what Measure KK brings to the table, I've clearly stated I'm neutral at this point in my official capacity. I think it's important that every Union City voter do their homework on that particular initiative, understand both sides of the equation, and really think long and hard about are we as a community